attention to the subject activates it within you. And so when something is activated within you, just like a magnet is drawn, circumstances and events begin to culminate around you. Over time, have you been listening to us for a while? Have you heard enough of the basis of vibration, which is you, for us to just jump into what you are wanting to talk about? All right, we're going to give you the really quick version then. Your vibration, you're offering a vibration. That's the end of the story. Oh, there's a little more. Law of attraction causes whatever you are emitting to come back to you. That's really the end of the, there's a little bit more. And what comes back always matches your output every time. So nothing is happening to you. You can observe things, you can be influenced by the things that you're observing, and that can be the reason that you're offering your output, but your output is what's coming back to you every time. So there are two ways for you to know what your output is. One, by what's coming back. In other words, after a little while, Esther will say, all right, I get it. I get it. She shouts sometimes, I get it. I get it. I see it there and there and there and there and there, and I accept that I am the common denominator emitting the signal that equals what's coming back. I get that. So that's one way. You can wait till it comes back to you and you can know what you've been emanating, but it's a little difficult to change it once you've got the habit of doing that. So it is better if you can catch it in the earlier stages, and you do that by the way it feels. You can tell by the way you are feeling whether what you are emanating is helping you or not. You know, you could watch, for example, a dose, small or large, of what's going on politically, and you could, or are, going to use a strong word, poisoning your vibrational output, because you just can't watch that for very long without affecting what you are emanating, which means what comes back to you matches what you are emanating. And the reason that you can tell by the way you feel is because there is another part of you, once again, we know crazy talk, that you cannot see, this soul source part of you with you all the time, thinking thoughts about the very subject that you are thinking thoughts about, but often holding a very different position about it from that broader, wiser, older point of view. And that's really the thing that is most necessary for you to have anything to do with what we are offering, because you got to accept this vibrational aspect of you that is playing against this human part of you, or you cannot begin to understand what your emotional guidance system is telling you. So here's the basis, and we're going to give it to you fast. We know you could give it to us as well in many cases. You are in this physical body, but right now, while you're in this physical body, you are also so much more. Because before you came into this physical body, you were source energy, non-physically focused. Some of you want to refer to that part of you as source or soul. We like to call that your inner being. But that non-physical aspect of you existed before you came into this physical body. And even though a part of that consciousness is now the consciousness that you know as you, the personality that you know as you, the person having the thought and feeling the emotions that you know as you, there's a non-physical part of you who still exists in non-physical. And that is so essential to your understanding of your guidance system, because that explains why, as law of attraction is responding, and it is, to the non-physical perspective of you, and as law of attraction is responding to the physical human right now in this time-space reality, in this red hot moment aspect of you, those two vibrational aspects are having a relationship with one another, because law of attraction is responding to both of them. When you really hate someone because of their bad deeds, the reason that you feel that negative emotion is because your inner being, even though your inner being may be looking at the same thing you're looking at, is not hating. Your inner being is seen from a different perspective. Your inner being is always uplifting in nature. And when you are not, even when you have good reason, you don't feel so good. Esther has said to us in the past and yesterday, clearly, Abraham, you need more information. You need more information about this, because I'm pretty sure if you had all the information that I have, you would feel as I feel. And we say, that's why you feel as you feel, you see. So your guidance system is really important to understanding what your broader point of view is. We want to talk today all day about how you are turning your thoughts to things. And we want to talk to you about anything that is important to you. We can help you clean up your vibration if you want. We can help you understand concepts and laws and principles if you want. We can give you some processes if you want. It's really all up to you. You are a collective body of consciousness, and in many cases you don't know the people who you are sharing this room with. But we want you to know that law of attraction has gathered you for this particular conversation, not just because of your locality, although it seems logical that that would have something to do with it, but because of the vibrational basis that is dominantly who you are. And because that is the case, it is our promise to you that as you raise your hands and we find you one by one, and you come forward and we have some conversations about what's on your mind, that many of the people who are in this room will benefit by that conversation. In fact, often, if you are not the one in the hot seat asking the question, you can hear the answer more clearly, because sometimes a very active question that you don't know the answer to will keep you from hearing the answer. The vibration of not knowing will keep you from letting it in sometimes. So sometimes if someone else asks something that is sort of about what you are talking about, you can hear the answer more clearly. We're going to give you one analogy and then off we go together. So as life causes you, as you sift through the variety of it, to know what you don't want, it also causes you to know what you do want. So when you know what you do want, it's like, pretend for a moment that you are a train and you are on a track and it's on level ground, and you sift through life and you shoot out a rocket of desire. And in our analogy, which you're going to hear a lot about today until you don't like it anymore, but we promise it's of value to you, when you shoot out that rocket of desire, it's like you putting a powerful engine on this end of your train going that way. Often though, when you launch that rocket of desire and your train starts moving in the direction of your desire, because you are realistic and because you are accustomed to translating through your physical senses, you may, often do, nearly always, notice where you are in relationship to what you're asking for. And so even though you say, I want this, you often say, but this is where I am. And when you offer that but about something that you want, it's like you put a big powerful engine equal to the other one on the other end of the train going the other way. So now you've got I want it but going on, which means you're not moving anywhere in terms of translating your thoughts to things. Nothing is showing up for you as long as you have this vibrational discord going on. Now there's a lot of vibrational discord often going on as you are sifting and sorting. I want that but, I want that but, I want that but by the time you launch this rocket, you've got some good momentum going in the direction of your desire. And if you could, once you say, I really want this, and the reason that I want it is, you would then put another engine and another engine and another engine. I want this, and I know I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to the idea of it. The idea of it is pleasing to me. I know other people who are experiencing it. They seem happy enough. In other words, engine, 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 all going in the direction of your desire. And if you could keep your vibration pure in that way, you would just get those engines stacked up until there is enough momentum going, and the engine stacking up is really undeterred thought. Momentum would ensue, and before anyone around you can believe it, you'll begin having manifestations about your desire. If that isn't the experience that you're having, there is only one reason. You're putting the engine of desire going in this direction, and then you're putting the engine of doubt going in this direction. And the reason that those engines of doubt, those thoughts of doubt, that momentum of doubt is easy for you to come by is one reason really, and one reason only. And as we get your attention about this, and as you play with it a little bit, everything is going to get better for you right away. You are accustomed to looking at what is, and when what is not showing you what you want, it's easy for you to notice what is. So when we use the word doubt, we really want you to understand what we mean. When you are looking at the absence of what you want, those are the beginning engines of doubt. In other words, when you look for it and you can't see it, you're offering a vibration about its absence, not about its presence. It really is that subtle. Now, the feeling of doubt doesn't overcome you until you've done quite a bit of that. In other words, you got to hold yourself apart from what you want for a while before you really begin feeling strong doubt. But what we want to ask you to do, if you could, in the early stages of recognizing that you want something, if you would consciously and deliberately think in terms of what you want and why you want it, you will get more of the engines, more of the momentum going in the direction of what you want. And if we want you to understand this, if you get enough momentum going in the direction of what you want, an engine or two in opposition to it won't slow you down. Jerry and Esther had several big buses that they drove for several years, big powerful buses, diesel pushers they were called, 45 feet long. They towed big cars behind them. And one day, as they hooked the tow car up, Esther didn't do one little step. She did not disengage the parking brake. But that powerful engine did not know it. They dragged that car down the highway like a sled. Didn't even know. It wasn't until they stopped and got out and smelled the hot brake fluid that they realized what had happened, because the powerful desire was not stopping the momentum. And the same is true with your desires. When your desire is strong enough, it doesn't matter what you believe. Now, of course, if you got your brakes on and your desire is dragging you, it's a harder ride than you really want, and you might need new brakes once you get to where you're going. But we want you to understand that if your desire is powerful enough, your hindering beliefs will not hold much weight in this process. So when you think about what you want and why you want it, you get momentum going. But when you say, how's it going to come? Doubt. Where's it going to come from? Doubt. When's it going to come? Who's going to bring it? When you ask those questions to which you don't have ready answers, then you introduce unnecessary resistance to the equation. So if you could stay really general about what you want and why you want it, if we can convince you that everything that you want, that the whole process of creating is an energetic endeavor, it's about energy, it's about vibration, it's not about action. Now we know action is fun, usually, unless you're using your action to try to compensate for resistance that you've set out there with your thought. If you have a lot of doubt, a lot of resistant thought, then action is hard and it doesn't get you anywhere. It's like trying to use a lot of action in order to compensate for energy that you didn't get aligned. And so now you understand the laws of the universe. Now you understand the basic premise that we are wanting you to incorporate into your thought processes. We want you to not work harder. We want you to be wiser in the work that you do. And we want you to understand that it is vibrational work. It is attitudinal work. It is mood work. It is how you feel work. It's 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 how you feel work. Because when you don't feel good, when you feel all balled up, when you feel unsure, when you feel disadvantaged, when you feel unfairness, when you feel disappointment, when you feel discouraged, your action has very little impact on that. You just can't get there from there. You just got to cheer up. You just got to find a way to cheer up, which means sometimes you have to back up away from the problem far enough that you can forget about it. And that's sort of counterintuitive to most humans, because you've been taught that you've got to dig in and go after it. But you've been taught by those who don't understand about law of attraction, because when you push hard against something, you don't accomplish anything other than putting more engines in opposition on the other end of your train. And so that's the story, Morning Glory. That's how it works. So what do you want to talk about? We'll sort it all out comfortably, happily. Oh, wise beings that you are. So just relax and trust that whatever it is that you want to know, we will talk about.